the last of the real. I'm not with you, pride, and I don't roam with the pack. Like I'm in a school of fish, it's always prone to attack. I'm a shark in the deep that'll carve up the meat. Man, I'm not an animal with bars, I'm a beast. I don't choose from your gangs or approve of the same politicizing news that you use for your gain. I'm a fluke in the game and I don't choose to remain a part of every single paradigm. I lose the restraint. Last of the real, but alas, mon ami, I'm only one of 7,000 with no grass on his knee. Bound on the bail, hail to the king. It's the blood that's on the cross that is now the supreme. Steps of the just that are just pressed through the mud. The glacier of the flood and now the sand of the dust. We're coming to the end and now we stand on the cusp. So you better run for cover when the dam's gonna bust. Television screen, moon landing, 9/11 Syria, chemical attacks, criminals and government abuse with the tax. The world in which we live in, now the truth that it's flat. Washed in the blood, I don't kneel like a slave. I'm the last of the real.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Flat Earth Podcast for another hour or so of Flat Earth audio. I am not your beloved co-host, Curious Jay, but don't hang up just yet. I'm only a slightly less manly version by the name of Matt Long. You may recognize me from such internet sensations as flatworth.com. And with me today and for the foreseeable future is Dave from Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Dave, are the rumors true? Have we lost Curious Jay to the ball?
I think it had something to do with the eclipse. We had another eclipse the other day. He couldn't figure it out, and now maybe he's a baller. Not sure.
You know, I was worried. I knew it wasn't going to be really too much in our hemisphere, so I thought we might be safe. But apparently, it doesn't matter where the eclipse is; it sets him off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tried to explain to him, just because flat earthers can't explain what causes the eclipse doesn't mean that ball earthers can explain it, because their explanation is nonsense. It's like I've used the example before. My car, I know that it uses diesel fuel, but that's all I really know. I step on the gas, it works. I don't know how it works. Doesn't mean it's not a car. It works perfectly.
That's true. Well, so yeah,
Jay, if you're listening, it's okay, man. You don't have an answer for everything.
Well, and I know it's been a while since the last show, and I know most people like me were expecting like a nasty band breakup type moment where both you guys go off and do solo projects, and one of you becomes more successful than the other, making it painfully obvious that Curious Jay was the real talent behind the whole thing. And I'm just glad it didn't happen.
This is how you're going to start.
I just randomly picked Curious Jay. I don't know if that's how it would really go.
However, the real story is that it's summer and Jay and my schedules have been crisscrossing paths. So we decided to have Matt come host the show for a little while because he's been such a great asset to the show. So Jay might be stopping in a little bit to tell us what's going on with him. And we're just going to take it from here. So a little Matt, a little Dave is what you get. Like it or leave it.
I think it's a good combo.
Glad to have you, Matt. It's great. I'm a big fan. Flatworth.com. Your new series that you're doing was premiered on Glowbusters with RedHenn malt liquor, is it? What was it?
I'm not going to claim authorship of RedHenn.com. It's actually a movement larger than me. But yeah, the drink is a combination of Red Bull and Hennessy after two great individuals that basically rode capsules driven by balloons into the stratosphere. 66.6% Hennessy cognac with 33% Red Bull. And you can actually get it in Kool-Aid flavor, because I know most ball earthers like drinking the Kool-Aid. So basically, people who have gotten mixed up in this whole flat earth mess, right, that don't feel the spin of the earth anymore like they used to, they can drink this drink. Automatically they'll start feeling the spin and eventually pass out and go back to sleep where they are most comfortable.
Is that a real drink? Do people drink Hennessy and Red Bull?
They're about to. So I don't know if that's a real drink or not. It is now. I know that.
Fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah. So RedHenn.com. If you see somebody wearing a RedHenn, just know that they probably know more about existence than you do. So follow them. Follow the RedHenn.
Is the RedHenn just about more than flat Earth? Is it other things too?
I would say just like other things fall under the flat Earth conspiracy. I'd say a lot of things fall under the notion of following the red hen, and it may be that whatever conspiracy you start with leads to another. I don't think the red hen is particular as far as deciding what its favorite conspiracy is. I just know that it's awake, and if you follow it, you may end up in a place that you never know existed.
So 2018, the white rabbit's out. Follow the red hen.
The red hen is the new white rabbit, but the red hen is not afraid to go into rabbit holes. I know that.
Excellent. So what are we going to talk about today, Matt?
Well, I'm humbled to be on the show with you, I want to say first, because when I started coming into Flat Earth, I was looking for podcasts, and I found Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. It was one of the few out there that was actually talking about it. So listening to you, and was it Mike and Tim?
Yeah, that was painful, my friend.
Well, I can remember driving back from I was trying to play on a football team at the time, and I was riding back with a buddy of mine who is one of my good friends, great photographer guy who does some work with Flat Earth. And the first time I told him, what I believed, we ended up listening to one of your podcasts. And so it's super cool to be hanging out with you now and teaming up on this.
All right. This is going to be a lot of fun. We'll get into the swing of things as we move along.
All right. So Dwayne Kellum had
the balloon guy.
The balloon guy. That's right.
Yeah.
He was going to launch a balloon during the eclipse. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, so back on June 27th, he was actually going to launch an amazing two balloons and one payload with like a quadruple decker payload with 5 cameras. I'm not sure the number, but one of the cameras was going to be a special camera for the billboards that we're doing for the conventions. And he was going to take a really great shot of a flat horizon that we can use for the conference billboards. But it was a really windy night. He had to let the helium out of the balloon, so he lost all his helium. He decided not to launch. It was too dangerous. So his next launch date was for the eclipse. Now, the eclipse is not visible in North America, but he thought, hey, maybe if I launch during the eclipse that's happening across the plane, maybe we'll see something that's causing the eclipse. The funny thing that happened is all of his helium suppliers all of a sudden refused to sell him helium. Now, could they have just been out of helium? He says that one of them told him that they're only allowed to sell to corporate clients, but he couldn't get helium.
Wow.
I don't think anyone's ever launched a balloon when an eclipse is happening somewhere across the plane, and maybe the elite who know what's going on, or maybe know what's going on, didn't want it. What easier way to shut them down than to make helium not available?
Sure. Was he pretty vocal about wanting to do that during the eclipse?
Oh, yeah. He announced that that's what he was doing. But, you don't have to be vocal. If you think it, they already know it. Come on. They're wiretapping our brains with those chemtrails and everything. Now I sound crazy. But there are no more secrets in this world. If you think it, they know it.
There are no coincidences on the flat Earth.
Yeah.
Or there are no secrets on the flat Earth. I like that.
There appears to be no helium either.
Nice. Okay, well, tell me about, it's been a while, so we're kind of getting caught up on some of the stuff here. Tell me about this Hibbler Productions documentary.
Yeah, so Hibbler Productions, who puts out really well put together videos, they just put out another one called Hibbler Productions Flat Earth 2018 documentary. It's on our Facebook page. It's I think it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes. It's just such a great montage of stuff. Make sure you catch it. Make sure you subscribe to that channel, and make sure you share it with all of your baller friends or post it anywhere you can. That's all.
So you're saying it's 30 minutes ish or less?
I forget the exact length, but it's one not to be missed. I've watched it a couple times. Every time I come across it, I'll probably end up watching it again. It's one of those that's just so. And he really puts it together with the music and the visuals. It's just so well done. So hats off again to Hibbler Productions. You guys are great. Keep doing what you're doing.
Awesome. Because, at some minute mark, people's mouths open and then drool starts to come out and they stop blinking. And
at the what minute mark?
I'm not sure what minute mark it is. I just know there's a minute mark where that happens.
Yeah, well, that's why I try to keep my videos under that minute mark.
Instagram's good because you got to keep it under 1 minute. I had an argument with a guy, happens to be a pro surfer, on my Instagram account. And he brought up this notion that, one, flat earthers say that the horizon always rises to your eye, but ball earthers claim that you can actually prove that it doesn't. And I've heard you speak about this before, but I kind of want to get your thoughts on that.
They're kind of both wrong because the horizon on a flat plane keeps rising to your eye level, but it never quite gets there. But it gets to the point where it's inconsequential that it's literally, the amount underneath it is immeasurable. So essentially it is there. The problem that happens is when you're up in an airplane, even on a clear day where you can see really far, the atmosphere becomes so thick that it becomes sky. Sky is just too much air between you and whatever you're looking at, and it becomes sky. So the horizon, it's an artificial horizon, actually is lower. Can you see that? Did I paint that picture okay?
Yeah, I think so. And I've got a buddy who's a pilot who I've visited with about flat Earth, and he consistently flies at around 50,000 feet, which, by the way, apparently that is the max that a civilian pilot is allowed to fly at. He used to tell me that he could see the curvature of the Earth up there. And once I started talking to him about this, he now says it looks flat as a pancake, but he's not sure what it's supposed to look like if it was a ball. So I started doing some 3D modeling, and what we found out was that because of the atmosphere, either way, it's going to look the way it looks. You're not going to be able to see to the point where you could see a difference between, at 50,000 feet, between a ball and a plane.
You just can't see far enough. When the farther you can see, the higher you are, the farther you can see. The problem is the air will block what you see because the air is over distance becomes opaque, and that's the sky.
So we essentially have a distorted horizon, correct? How do you go about finding the actual horizon?
So sometimes when you're zooming in with your camera across the water, and the same thing happens there, you get these false horizons, you get these mirages. But if you happen to know where the horizon is, you might be able to look for it and go, oh yeah, I see a little line there. I see a little piece of land there. So the simple trick to do is just get any glass container of water, a glass of water, any shaped glass, doesn't matter, and hold that water up to your eye, just in front of your eyes, till your eye is just skimming across the top of the water. And then look out into the distance, and the horizon will be level with that water. So you put the water horizon line right in front of your eyeball, and then you'll see where it's drawing a line in the distance, and that's where you should see the true point of convergence.
Got it. So it's a trick to help you find that actual line, and some days you can actually see it, is what you're saying.
Right. So on a foggy day, the horizon, the artificial horizon might only be a mile out because you just can't see any farther. But if you hold the water up, you'll see, okay, it's way out there. When I look down Long Island Sound, I can see New York City. But if I hold the water up, I can see where the real horizon is. And some days you can see farther, but it'll bring you closer to that target.
Right.
But you never really get there because though, it keeps rising and halving, half, like half,
got it.
Not the whole, halving the distance. And you keep halving something, you're never going to get there. But again, it becomes inconsequential because it's so close anyway.
Right. Wow.
So the real thing is the horizon essentially rises to eye level.
Correct.
Does that sound better?
Yes, absolutely. Speaking about the true horizon, I mean, I don't believe there's been a show since you've put this video out, but you had a tremendous sun fade video that I believe you shot on your drone from, I forget how high you can get your drone up there, but tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've caught it 4 times now where I put the drone up on a super clear day, It has to be low humidity, so usually a cooler day. Haven't had many in the middle of the summer here. From elevation, a couple 100 meters up, and filming in 4K because it's filming something that's very far away and your eye just can't see it. The last couple of degrees of apparent drop of the sun stops going down and it goes away. So on a flat Earth, everyone says, well, the sun would turn into a little dot. It would shrink and become a dot and then disappear. That's what ballers say. Flat Earthers agree. The problem is even the sunlight can't shrink into a dot because it doesn't even make it to you. The sun, before it disappears due to angular size, it disappears into the sky where it just fades out into the sky.
And you need to put this link in the description. If you have not seen this video, it is unbelievable.
And that's what all the ballers say, that I faked it.
This is something I did a video on my IGTV, on my Instagram, is the difference between correlation and causation. And things can appear to correlate to a ball, but it doesn't mean that they're caused by one. And one of those things that ballers say is caused by us being on the ball is sunrise and sunset. The problem is something can correlate to a ball and not be caused by one. And if you just have one instance of it not correlating, which in my opinion are the 4 videos you have of the sun fading out, you have to look for another explanation besides us being on a ball.
There's a video that P-Brain, a YouTuber P-Brain, put out that showed this effect with a tennis ball. I think it was a tennis ball. He has a camera on the ground, and he puts a tennis ball in front of it, and he rolls the tennis ball away, and the tennis ball shrinks. You know, it fills up the whole screen, and then it rolls away, and the ball gets smaller and smaller, just like we'd all expect. But then he has a tennis ball on the ceiling, and he aims the camera up, and he moves the tennis ball the same distance across the room, across the ceiling, and the tennis ball hardly shrinks at all. Have you seen that?
No, I have not.
So that's because the difference in the distance from the lens is much less than, the one on the ground was an inch from the lens and it went 50 feet from the lens. Or 20 feet. So the one that was on the ceiling, maybe it was 15 feet on the ceiling and went across. It wasn't really that much farther away from the angle. That is what we see with the sun. When the sun is moving across over us, we're seeing the perspective of it going down. It is slightly getting smaller, but I believe that it's also slightly being magnified as we're looking through more and more atmosphere. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense, and I totally agree with what you just said. That's my opinion as well.
But taking it one step further, it's when it gets down to that last couple degrees where you can't even see the space between the sun and the earth plane. When you're on the ground, it's already set for you because you're looking through so much atmosphere, trees, mountains in the distance, whatever it is, it's going to go beyond them. It's going to look like it's set going down. However, when you have an opportunity to have the 4 things, height, clarity of the air, no humidity, and a 4K camera, you can video it and it's not going to get eclipsed by atmospheric blocking, what I call it, or the cloud deck, or there's a million names for it now. And then at that point, it's truly moving away from you where you've used up all of that height already to compensate, and now it's moving away and you see it shrink. Depending on the clarity, it disappears into the sky itself.
It is truly amazing. Great. And surely that video is already on our website. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Great. Now, I've heard a rumor, and this is really confirmation of a rumor, that you have a little bit of brain damage. And I know a lot of us have been thinking it for a while, but it has something to do with an amusement park ride. And I think you were at an amusement park recently watching the free fall ride. Is that correct?
I was at a amusement park and I was watching some kids on this ride where it's the one it's a tall post and they sit in a chair and then it literally slingshots them from 0 to 60 miles an hour in a second or two. And then they free fall down and they bounce a couple times. You know the ride I'm talking about?
I know the exact ride.
The acceleration that they experience their faces get pulled down. They flip out. They can't control their motor functions. They can't hold their hands up. That's only for a couple of seconds. When you compare that to an official NASA or SpaceX launch, these pilots or astronauts are supposedly experience that amount of force, if not more, for a period of 5 or 8 minutes.
Right.
The human body, I don't think it could handle, they're going, I think it's 0 to 200 every 3 seconds for 5 minutes.
Wow.
It's 3 seconds or 5, or maybe it's every 5 seconds. But either way, you've seen the Tesla car video where they accelerate the car and the people freak out 0 to 60 in 3 seconds.
Right.
These pilots are doing that, and I'm just watching this going, there's no way that's possible. I had gone to a Great Adventure, and it was a night where there was just like 1,000 people in the park. The whole park was open to us. It was an executive night or whatever it was, and we can go on any rides we want. There was literally no rides. Maybe you wait 1 or 2 rounds. And I went on a ride called the King de Ka. Do you know it?
I do not.
It's the fastest, highest roller coaster, I believe, in the world. You basically sit in this car. It slingshots you down this track at 0 to 90 in 2.3 seconds or something like that. Then it takes a 90-degree turn, goes straight up into the darkness, into the sky, and then you come down and you corkscrew back, and you're back in 12 seconds. It's literally the most ridiculous ride. But the line for that ride is usually 3 hours.
Wow.
Okay. And I found out there's a reason it's a 3-hour wait, because at the end of the night, I went on that ride first, and I said, I'm done. I'm not going on any other rides. I'm finished.
That's all you needed.
And yeah, I went back at the end of the night. We were looking for our round up the rest of our crew, and they're like, yeah, come on. And so we got on, did it again. We come around, there's nobody in line. The guy goes, you want to go again? And everyone's like, yeah. And so boom, we went again. And we come around, and he goes, you guys want to go again? And everyone's like, yeah. And we went around again, and we come back, and he goes, you guys want to go again? And everybody, without discussing it, goes, no. That night on the way home, I couldn't talk. I couldn't get words out of my mouth. If I did, it would take literally 10 or 15 seconds to get them out. Then for the next 6 months, whenever I wanted to say a sentence, there would be a 1 or 2 second delay.
Wow. Like slow internet.
Yeah. And again, this is what these astronauts, maybe that's why the astronauts are so dumb. Maybe they really are being launched.
That's what was wrong at the press conference after the moon landing.
Yeah. So a note to Great Adventure, if you're listening, do not let people ride that ride multiple times in a row.
Wow. Well, 0 to 90 in 2.3 seconds. That's kind of like me getting out of bed in the morning now that I'm sleeping on an inclined bed.
Fantastic.
It used to be like 2.6 seconds. I've got it to 2.3 now.
Excellent. That's a big improvement. That's like 20%, right?
Oh, at least. Well,
people are going to be doing the math and calling us idiots. And
don't talk to me about math. Which, by the way, Morgal had an awesome video that you sent me earlier today. I'm not sure when it came out, but
what was the name of the video? The Morgal put out a video, A Brief History of Flat Earth. It's a very short video for him, just an hour.
Right.
And that guy is a wordsmith. He's unbelievable. I wish I could speak half as well as he does.
He had a quote about math, and I wanted to see if I could play it real quick, if you don't mind.
Mathematics don't prove reality. They merely describe observable nature confined to the boundaries of a given hypothetical matrix.
So I just think it's interesting how math can absolutely describe things, but you're coming from an area that you're trying to confirm. And so while math can absolutely describe how things work, it doesn't necessarily prove why they act a certain way.
You can make a math equation to describe anything, real or fake.
Absolutely. I was listening to a video that Rob Skiba put out with him, and the guy's last name is Singenis. I believe it's Michael Singenis. I'm sorry if that's wrong, but he talked about how there are a lot of ways to come up with the number 4. It could be 2 plus 2. You could have 3 minus 1. You could have 100 minus 96. So just like you're saying, there are a lot of ways to get to a number or a value. But again, it doesn't mean that that's what's causing it.
Right. And we have our favorite Ball Earth NASA shill, I'll say it, Red's Rhetoric, who is always just using math to prove every point, but he has presuppositions in there. The radius of the Earth, whatever it is, it's just math. And as he always says,
math is reality.
Will you play that again? I've heard a theory that he is actually Eric Dubé. Have you heard this?
no way. No, I have not. And I'm going to discredit it already without even looking into it.
Math is reality. Math is reality. Math is reality.
Slow it down.
I can't slow it down.
It's just a theory. It's just a theory.
Oh, please. God help us. All right. Let's move along.
So this brings me kind of to the next point of when you come into Flat Earth, have you been bored for 1 second since that happened?
You know, I've been talking about this a lot. It's amazing. There's not a moment of any part of any day that you can possibly be bored because there is so much to learn. Have you felt the same way?
Absolutely, because if what we've been told is a lie, there is a lot of ground to make up. There's a lot of stuff to look into.
Crow always says that the way the elite control us is they limit our choices. They say you have A, B, C, or D, and you can fight about them all day, but there's 1,000 other things that we're unaware of.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem with the world right now. People are just lost. They're bored because they don't know that there's more. If you don't know there's a question, you're not going to go looking for the answer. My mind is blown every single day. Every single day, my mind is blown.
So there's different categories of knowledge, right? There's a stuff that you know that you know. I know how to play tennis. There's a stuff I know I don't know. I know how to speak French. But the stuff that I don't know, that's I picture like a dog getting out of the backyard and just running around like crazy. And that's running around like crazy. That's the flat earth that we've come into. We didn't even know we didn't know it. And now that we know it, oh man, what else is out there?
Everyone's like an indoor cat, and the cat gets out and has the entire country to go through.
Absolutely.
A good friend of mine who moved out west, my daughter actually woke her up she was just your normal person, didn't know anything. My daughter made a 9/11 comment one day, and she's like, "What?" She goes, "You think 9/11 was fake?" And she goes, "I don't think it was fake. I know it was fake." And that started her on her researching. She's the one that turned me on to, I think it was her that turned me on to listening at double speed. And she's listening to things at triple speed now. Just, we can't take in enough. But today she goes, "I'm having a bad day." She goes, "There's just so much. I'm overwhelmed. I can't take it." And she was freaking out. She's a yoga teacher also. And she goes, "I just finished my yoga classes." I'm like, "You sound awfully stressed out for that." And I go, "Would you rather not know?" And she goes, "I don't know." And I said, "Try this." I said, "Pretend that you don't know any of this and you're just like every other person that's surrounding you." I go, "And go through your day. What are you going to do? You're going to do your yoga class and you're going to stare at the wall?" And she really didn't have an answer. But if you think about it, some of the stuff is overwhelming, Matt. Some of the stuff that's happening, it's just nonstop. But would you rather not know? And if you really, really, really think about it, the answer is absolutely not. You never want to go back.
Well, you're absolutely right.
It's just what are you going to do with the information? Sharing it with others is fun.
Absolutely. I did a video on this with Robert Forsch, Eternal Perspective, Bible.com guy. Some people know him as. He was the guy in the Vice News clip when they asked him who was responsible for the deception, he said, Satan. But the telltale sign that he wasn't finished was like he stuck his thumb out like he was about to list like 5 or 6 different things, but they cut him off to make him look like a religious kook. And the rest of his answer is, one, he implicates himself in the deception, right? Because he homeschooled his kids. And he got evolution right. He knew that they didn't come from apes, but he taught the heliocentric model. And his point is, once you find out the truth, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to sit on it? Or are you going to put it out there?
Yeah, I constantly put it out there. The other day, I actually sold my P900 and to a random guy on eBay. And what I did was, in the package, I put Flat Earth brochures, cards, everything. I used my Flat Earth packing tape. I sent it to him. And then when I sent him his tracking number, I wrote in the eBay message, I said, now that you bought the most powerful zoom camera on Earth, I said, research Flat Earth. And so I haven't heard anything yet. But so now my thing is, whenever I sell something on eBay, no matter what it is, even if it's not something that you can relate to Flat Earth, although everything relates to Flat Earth because it's all on a Flat Earth.
Correct.
I always flat smack them and throw some stuff in there because you never know where it's going to go.
Absolutely. And if you don't prefer the flat smack, which might be a little in your face, you could do an unballing or
an unballing?
Yeah, an unballing.
What's an unballing?
An unballing it's more of a subtle way of bringing someone into the truth. It's not as violent as maybe a flat smack.
So I'm violent. I guess it could be. It could seem a little violent.
Maybe some people that wear safety pins would think it's a little violent, but maybe the violent nature of the suggestive smack involved.
Is this a little less violent if you're on a phone call with customer service or whatever, you ordered something, technical support, when there's some downtime or at the end of the call when they're done and they say, is there anything else I could help you with? You say, yes, I have a question. Have you ever considered the shape of the Earth? Or if someone asked you if the Earth was flat or round, what would you say?
I would say that is absolutely more of an unballing. And since they offer to help you with anything else, I mean, they're basically asking anything else, right? And I would say, sure, that's more of an unballing or a flattening, maybe.
A flattening. I like that, unballing and flattening.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they say it's a ball, of course. Somebody said that, and I said, really? 2018, and you still think it's a ball?
Nice.
I never know what I'm going to say next,
right.
But you say it, and it's easy because you're never going to see that person. You don't have to worry about them, but you say it, and it's good. Another one, a big one was we're actually moving the website. I didn't tell you this. We're moving from GoDaddy to another hosting provider, hoping to get a little better service. But when we were having technical issues where our site was being hacked, we'd be on with technical support with them, and there was a lot of downtime. So during the downtime, I was like, hey, have you guys looked into this? You look at this video, look at that video. By the end of the phone call, sometimes I picture the entire room of customer service people hovering over this one cubicle because you can hear people going, oh my God, I never thought about that. Oh my God. And last year I was having a series of calls with them, and like a couple days later I call back and we're on this case again, and I hear the guy goes, it's the Flat Earth guys, and people came over.
Awesome.
So it works. And by the way, if you're just getting into Flat Earth now, it's so much easier than it was 3 years ago.
So much easier. Oh, right? So much easier. We had to work with like napkins and stuff 3 years ago. That's all we had. We had flip charts.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I'll every once in a while I'll post on Facebook and say Ball Earth. Is that still a thing?
Yeah. So you can flip their comments. It's 2018. People still think the Earth is flat. I just flip it around. I go, it's 2018, and you still think we live on a spinning water ball where you're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound when you watch the sunset? And you walk away. You drop the mic and you go, that's electromagnetism.
I was at a professional networking event, which I rarely go to, but I went to this one.
Wait, you went there just hoping to flat smack or unball somebody? It's the only reason you went.
I only go places at the possibility that I might get to talk about Flat Earth. Because if I go anywhere and someone knows me as Flat Earth, that's all we're going to talk about anyways. And it's all I really want to talk about. So I go there, and this guy's talking about his business and different marketing strategies and things like that. And I kind of get bored with it, knowing I don't need that in my business. And I just say, well, okay, cool. So maybe you can help me with my Flat Earth website. And he looks at me. He goes, can you believe people still think they're on a spinning ball? And he walks off.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I love it. It's so fun when you ask somebody. I was on with AppleCare. I was talking to a black gentleman, and at the end I said, is it a flat or a ball? How would you describe it? He goes, it's flat, man. It's flat. I was like, oh, man, I love you. And that was it. We parted ways, and that's the end of it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely getting out there. All right, so tell me about this upcoming flight over the South Pole and how I've heard that possibly they're not going to allow any kind of scientific equipment on board. Is that the case?
Yeah, so a few weeks ago or a month or so ago, we heard about they're doing the first South Pole Antarctic flight, which we know is impossible because we live on a flat Earth and it just doesn't work once you understand the model. So we're wondering what kind of trickery they're up to. Again, it's like going to Antarctica. It's thousands of dollars. I think the ticket's somewhere around $10,000, maybe more. But a couple flat earthers, or one that I know of, is going on it. And they were talking about what equipment to bring to test, to confirm where they were flying. So the company got hold of this information and added to the website that they heard that some passengers were planning on doing experiments to disprove already proven scientific facts. And therefore, for the safety and comfort of the other customers, that no scientific equipment whatsoever will be allowed on the flight.
What would they consider scientific equipment? Is a compass scientific equipment?
I don't know how you couldn't sneak a compass on, but maybe you can't. A gyro, maybe they won't allow a gyro, battery packs.
Beakers? No beakers.
No sulfuric acid.
Oh, man.
No parachutes and snowmobiles.
Right. That would be, if you could sneak one of those on, that'd be impressive. So tell me about, apparently, the 2002 and 2012 blue marbles have the same clouds.
I'm not sure how new that is, but it's new to me. Somebody found in the 2002 and 2012 official photos of Earth from NASA. It's the same clouds.
Wow. Which makes sense. I mean, why, if you've already made them in 2002, why would you make new ones in 2012?
That's right. It's the land masses. The clouds are generally the same all the time, Matt. Don't you know that?
That's my mistake.
I'll take what ballers say for 200, Alex.
Oh, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not.
Par for the course.
It is par for the course. One thing we haven't mentioned, which we need to mention, is the conference coming up in Denver. I'm going. Dave's going. We're actually doing a deal together. We're going to be talking about how to speak to friends and family about the flat Earth.
And how to not lose friends and family when speaking to them, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's so many people, I hear so many people saying they're going, but I haven't seen that many people sign up yet. So if you're going, make sure you get your tickets. Make sure you get your hotel room or your VRBO or wherever you're staying. There's something else I want to talk about with that is relationships. And I think, Matt, you have a story that I'd like you to tell. As I've always said, that I don't believe a couple can remain together for a long time if one of them's a baller and one of them's a flat earther. What do you think about that, Matt?
I would agree with your assessment that would be extremely tough, because by nature, people who believe in the flat earth think it is a giant deal, and people who don't might not. And I could definitely see that drive a wedge between two people, which is why it's a great opportunity to bring your significant other to the conference. Would you agree with that?
If you are in a relationship and they're just not looking into it, Ask them, for the sake of your relationship, to take a vacation to Denver. Go there 3 or 4 days. Explore Denver for a little bit. Go to the conference together. Treat it as an adventure, and maybe even allow the ball side of the relationship to believe like, hey, show me where I'm wrong. I'm willing to change. Just be open because I'm willing to change. But I don't think it's actually possible to go to the conference and come out a baller. I don't think it's possible in any way.
I would agree. You're also going to end up seeing that it's a ton of really great people that are only standing up for what they deem as the truth and are fed up with listening to known liars. I don't see a problem with any of that.
I thought we were doing this to feel special and smarter than everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take what ballers say for 300, Alex.
The daily double.
So Denver conference is coming up in November. What's the dates? 11th and 12th, the 14th and 16th? Or
FE2018.com. All the info.
2018. Right. And by the way, if you go to theflatearthpodcast.com, click on the conference, put in the discount code FE podcast, all one word, you get 10% off.
Awesome. I would have gone anyways, but if I can get 10% off, that's great. And you brought up a story that I had, and it kind of relates to dating, I guess, as a flat earther. If I was to meet a girl, the first time we hung out, I would end up having to talk around the biggest passion in my life, which happens to be flat earth and the ball earth deception. And so it's really kind of kept me from really even being, I don't know, interested in talking to anybody else. But I was at church the other day and sat next to a girl, and we ended up talking and exchanging names and numbers. And I can remember thinking, that's cool. I don't know if anything will happen there. And about 8 hours later, I get a text that said, by the way, don't think I'm a creeper, but I just Googled you and I saw your flat earth stuff and I'm fascinated. And immediately I was like, wow, I would like to meet this girl and hang out and talk, because I can actually visit with her about the thing that I'm most passionate about in my life and not have to talk around it and pretend like it's not there. So I think it's important for people that are either in a relationship or looking into a relationship, make sure the other one knows what you believe, because if they don't, you're not even giving them the opportunity to accept or show their true colors, like a hissing, angry, scientismistic reptilian ball earther. That may have been a little harsh.
Flat earthers will hang in a relationship just hoping that the other person will come around. And if the other person, takes the time to look, which is the hard part, they will come around. The ballers hanging in the relationship going, oh my God, my partner's crazy, and they're hoping you'll come back, but
we're not coming back.
There's no coming back.
We jumped in the pool and we're swimming to the other side. We're not saving anything for the way back.
Yeah, that's it. It'll be a great vacation. You'll have the greatest time. I guarantee it.
I think that sounds great.
And you will be around hundreds and hundreds of other people that are open-minded, that can see reality, that aren't zombies. It's the energy there is so amazing. So just go.
Just go. So what about Eric Dubé in this video he just put out about stars going east to west?
Yeah, he made such a great point, though. One of the arguments that ballers make is, why do stars counter-rotate in the south? And my answer is, well, if there's a big disk of stars going around us and you're on the inner northern part of the equator, you're going to look to the north and see them going one way, and when you turn around, they're counter-rotating. But you can argue all different angles and looking at it. What Eric pointed out, and again, people may have been talking about this for a long time, but it just hit me, is no matter where you are in the world, stars rise in the east and set in the west. Doesn't matter whether they're going clockwise or counterclockwise. They're rising in the east, setting in the west.
And it just matters which way you're turned.
It doesn't matter, right? If we're facing each other and we're watching stars rise in the east and set in the west, I'm seeing them go clockwise. You're seeing them go counterclockwise. We're looking at the same stars.
Wow.
It's that simple.
I love it. That's typically a big hurdle for people, but probably the biggest hurdle is when someone says, oh, the conspiracy is way too big to have been a secret for this long. People will be coming out talking about it. What do you say to those people?
I say there are people that are talking about it. We're talking about it. We have access to to Twitter, to the internet. In 2018, we can think of something, and then people anywhere in the world can find out within minutes. And it's still hard to get people to listen. But I think that the people in the know that really try to come out, we're never going to hear them because there's a long list of them, just like the people that have cures for cancer and everything. There's a long list, and it's on Richie from Boston's website. And it's a list of all of these scientists and researchers and officials that are dead that had this information.
My goal is to make that list before I die.
There you go. Or when you die.
Right. Whenever I wake up dead.
There are people talking. It's just you have to listen. If you're not there to listen, if somebody talks flat earth and no one's there to hear them, did they really talk flat earth?
Dave. Wow. That's why people listen to this podcast. Moving on, I mean, that's going to be a big contention, a big argument of contention for a lot of people. But some people bring up this idea that hurricanes can only be caused by the Coriolis of the ball Earth, right? You and I were talking a little bit about low pressure systems, and you had an interesting point. I'd like to hear you elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah. So, I really don't know the dynamics of this, but it makes so much sense. During a hurricane, we have massive amounts of water. It's just pouring out of the sky. There's rivers coming out of the sky during a hurricane. And a hurricane is a super low pressure system. Every time it rains, it's a low pressure system. Basically, when it's raining, it's low pressure.
Are you saying that it's possible that we are having an exiting of pressure from somewhere, creating these, and potentially water coming in from somewhere else?
A lot of flat earthers quote the Bible that God separated the waters from the waters, whether you're religious or not. Even many flat earthers believe that there's waters above and waters below. We live in this pressurized system. Maybe when the pressure's lower, it lets the water in. Maybe the time of the Great Flood was a super low pressure system. Does anybody check the weather charts back then?
Well, I don't know if they did. I am one of those flat earthers that subscribes to the Bible, and I know that it talks about the windows of heaven opening up.
Just a big low pressure system and lets the water in. Just think about that. When the harder it's raining, usually the lower the pressure and the more water that's coming in. We're taught that evaporation, condensation, and what's the three? It's evaporate.
There's that roller coaster ride thing happening again.
Evaporation, condensation, and precipitation is the cycle of water, is where we get our water from. That is not the truth. That is secondary water. There's primary water. Primary water is the oceans of water that are below us. That's what the primary water people talk about. But if you think about it on a flat earth, it makes even more sense. Primary water is above and below us. This whole secondary water just happens in between those two. But there is no water shortage. Primary water is, deeper in the earth. And that's why they don't let Californians during the drought drill even deeper, because they don't want them finding primary water, because it's endless water, and then they won't be able to claim there's a water shortage.
I love the notion of primary water, and I love the video you did a long time ago about Gaddafi.
Yeah, he discovered primary water. If you haven't seen my Gaddafi video, just search the Great Man-Made River, DITRH. And it's a short video about Muammar Gaddafi did the largest aqueduct project in the history, the known history of the world. It took him 40 years. He discovered primary water under the desert, and he was piping it all over Africa and giving any families that wanted to start an organic farm all of the land, water, cattle, seeds, everything they need to do these farms. And he was going to feed all of Africa. And when he finished, NATO forces blew it up with depleted uranium. The Great Man-Made River. They don't teach it in school. It's amazing, and it's almost wiped out from history.
Feeling fully depressed after that story. We could talk about the anti-depression medicine that Flat Earth seems to be, and it has been for me. And I just wonder if you share the same feeling as once you came into Flat Earth, it opened up this new space, essentially, where it's really hard for anything to affect you negatively.
There's people that they're depressed. They don't know what to do with their life. They don't know where they are. They're bored. They don't see any purpose to life. Well, think about it. That's the heliocentric deception right there. You're nothing. You're in the middle of nowhere. You don't matter. You're spinning out of control through space. And that's what people are basing their lives on. That is depressing. There's limits. We're running out of everything. Fear, just all of it is depressing. Hey, you're feeling in this horrible low vibration. You think you're an insignificant speck of dust in an infinite universe. Here, take this psychotropic medicine. That'll keep you in that state even longer. It'll make you feel a little better, but it'll keep you dumbed down, unable to think, unable to see, disconnecting your pineal gland from the true source of information. That's what the elite want, a dumbed down, drugged up population that doesn't know there's a whole yard out there. There's a whole country out there, just like the cat in the house that gets let out of the house for the first time. They don't want you knowing that, because once you know it, you're going to feel empowered. You're not going to put up with their nonsense. And you're going to want more, and there is more.
And the time to spread the word for that is now, because while there are a lot of people waking up, essentially being rejuvenated by this movement, it's getting worse for the people that are still asleep. And in fact, the next generation is going to be born and grow up thinking that we went to Mars. And the graphics are going to be better, by the way, than when we went to the moon. It's going to look a lot more real, but they're going to grow up accepting the fact that we've been to the moon and been to Mars.
Speaking of the moon and Mars, Martin Kenney was on the morning show that he and a couple others were on after the UK conference, where they kind of got railroaded a little bit, but the moon landing hoax came up, and he was on for about 15 minutes. He did a fantastic job bringing up some of the stuff. They did a survey after the show was over, or during the show, and they said that about 40 some odd % of the listening audience believes we went to the moon, and 60 some odd % doesn't.
So 60% was on board with not going to the moon.
60 believes that we didn't go to the moon. So the shift is here. It's happening now. The faster we speak out about it, the faster we wake people up. Whether you're going to flat smack them, or what's the term you use?
Unballing or flattening.
There you go. Choose your weapon and get out there. Every day, you should be unballing somebody.
What could be any bigger than the possibility that we don't live on a spinning ball? How can people say that doesn't matter?
Right. Somebody just did Morgile. Watch Morgile's thing, because at the end of the Morgile video that we talked about, he talks about people that say, what does it matter?
I remember that exact part. It was amazing.
So while the physical shape of the world may not affect one's life directly or like immediately, there are countless unimaginable consequences to this entire culture founded on deception. And the only antidote to this deception is obviously the truth.
Yeah, so good. Listen to this stuff more and more, and it'll make you better and better at talking to your friends and family. It's so, so important to get that information out there.
Absolutely. Well, we're kind of to the end of our topics. You want to do some speak pipes?
Yeah, let's do some. We got a bunch. I don't know how many we're going to get through, and let's see what happens. All right.
Very good.
Are you one of the many that have been fooled by the modern rejuvenation of the Flat Earth movement, and now you just feel empty? Do you long to feel the spin of the earth like you used to? Introducing RedHenn, a refreshing new drink from the professionals at Flatworth Brewing. RedHenn is a daring combination of Red Bull and Hennessy, inspired by courageous people like Felix Baumgartner and August Picard, who boldly traveled into the stratosphere by balloon. Never mind how those ignorant flat earthers point out that the horizon is flat from the non-fisheye lens inside the capsule, or that Picard described the Earth as flat with an upturned edge in Scientific American. This drink is designed to dismiss all the haters and send you back into your preferred state of consciousness. With 66.6% alcohol by volume, specifically designed by satanic Nazi magicians and carefully mixed by our professional technicians, you'll be back to feeling like you're spinning 1,000 miles an hour in no time. RedHenn. Stay asleep, my friends.
Look, guys, getting real tired of saying this. This is a podcast, okay? You're lucky Dave is still willing to upload it to YouTube. It's not going to always be there, okay? You need to start preparing now, just like Brian Austin Lambert says. One day, this will not be on YouTube. You need to switch to a podcast platform. This is Matt Long, flatwork.com. Over and out.
All right, here we go with some speak pipes. I guess I'm the one that gets to read them this week. So this first one is from Darleb, it says, and here we go.
Hi, I'm Darlene. I'm calling in reference to the shape of the earth, whether it's flat or sphere. I'm confused. I'm trying to research, and using the Bible, I'm finding out that it could either be flat or sphere. It's all about interpretation. What are your thoughts on that? Thank you.
Thanks, Darlene. Great question. And thank God we have Matt Long here,
Amen.
Mr. Biblical Flat Earth himself.
It cannot go either way if you're taking the Bible literally. That's my short answer to that. If you're taking the Bible literally, we are living on a still flat earth set on pillars under a dome, as Rob Skiba always says. If you don't want to get into the individual verses, just Google Hebrew cosmology and look at the pictures, and you will not see a spinning ball floating in space.
Who has the best compiled list of all of the Bible verses?
Nathan Roberts has an incredible list. His YouTube channel is Your Curveless Earth. His website is flatearthdoctrine.com, and he wrote a book on it called The Doctrine of the Shape of the Earth. Really great stuff. That's who I'd recommend. You can always watch Pastor Dean Odell, of course, down in Alabama. Okay, those are the two best.
All right, let's go to the next one. This is from Open Eyes.
Hi guys, this is Open Eyes from learncrypto.ca. I've attempted to help the cause by creating something called, well, it's actually a cryptocurrency called Flat. And with it, we'll be able to fund some projects, maybe send somebody north to south circumnavigation. That'd be cool. But anyway, if you want to check it out at learncrypto.ca/FE token. Hope you like it, and if you like it, maybe you can share it with other people in the community.
All right. Thanks, Open Eyes. Wow, that sounds like a bunch of the cryptocurrencies that I bought that have turned into dust.
Well, if it's the beginning, I'm in.
Yeah. All right. There you go. I don't really know much about that, and let's move to the next one. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
I'm going to check it out. That's all I'm going to say. But right, I'm going to get there first.
I thought a cryptocurrency has to solve a problem and provide a benefit. I mean, is it solving the problem of the ball deception?
It is going to empower flat earthers to prove the plane, is what it sounds like, all through this token.
All right. If it's under a penny, I'll buy 10,000 shares.
Same here.
Here, next one is from Andrew Grieg.
Hey guys, Andrew from Scotland. Just wanted to hit you up and let you know how I'm spreading the word. I have a free-to-read novel on inkit.com. It's called In Plain Sight. You can search for it. It's billed as fiction, but we all know that it ain't true. So far, I've had great feedback, and some are even looking into Flat Earth after only reading part of the story. However, it would be great if I could get some input from fellow Flat Earthers. If it's cool with you guys, I'll send a link over, see what you think. I would love to have a chat or exchange ideas with you on what to include, because it is just a shortened version that is free to read online. Keep up the great work, guys. Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Andrew. After you hear this, send the information to info@theflatearthpodcast.com. And anybody that wants to go check it out and give you feedback directly, that would be great.
I would also say feel free to find me at Flatworth anywhere and shoot me that link, Andrew, and I would love to take a look at it and give you some feedback.
That was pretty good. Let's go to the next one. Our next one is from Antoine Jordan.
Hey guys, it's Antoine here from Vermont. Been hooked on the show. Really love it. Curious Jay and Dave, you guys are great. Been talking to my wife about this flat earth concept, and we've just been going back and forth, and she's a baller and she just thinks the whole thing is ridiculous. We started talking about gravity. We watched a couple of videos, and by the way, all the videos about gravity are just ridiculous. And so I'm trying to figure out how birds fly and how we can jump and all this stuff. And she keeps talking about how the elements are different and they have different properties, but universally gravity is the same constant force. So I'm wondering if you guys can explain that on a flat earth model and then on a ball model.
Thanks for that, Antoine.
Gravity is necessary when you're trying to stick things to a ball. It is not necessary in the flat earth model. Everything can be governed by density, buoyancy, electromagnetism.
The way I explain it to people is gravity is just a theory. You can't demonstrate it in a lab. Part of the problem is you can't really get anything big enough. The Cavendish experiment, it was nonsense, and where people can't recreate it, and the ones that do fake it using static electricity. I believe that the Earth plane has a static charge to it that can be shown to be true. We can pull electricity out of the ground. We live in this electrified universe. That static attraction establishes what down is. Everything wants to go down because of a static force. No matter how small that is, it doesn't matter. It establishes down, and then buoyancy and density sort everything out.
If you know anything about physics and the right-hand rule, and if everything is proceeding around this, if you're looking from above, if everything is proceeding around us in a clockwise notion, use the right-hand rule and your thumb points in the direction of what some people call gravity, some people call electromagnetism.
When a maglev train is floating, it's defying electromagnetism, not gravity. Here's a question that you can ask her. Say, if everything is attracted to the atom that's at the very center of the Earth, who told that atom he was the center? What about one that's halfway between the center and the surface? Why doesn't everything go towards him or her?
It.
You're not allowed to call it. I'm gonna it.
They're gender neutral.
Yeah, the gender neutral atom. Gravity, when you really, really think about it, makes absolutely no sense. There's so much wrong with it. There's a video on our page. It's called Glowbusters Gravity. You got to go down a little bit in the video section. That one might help explain it. Also, last week, the last show in July, Glowbusters did a little bit on gravity, and it's very good. Problem is, it's lengthy, and it's hard to get somebody that doesn't believe something to watch something lengthy.
Yep.
Let's go to the next one. This is from Travis.
Heavy sigh, heavy sigh. Oh, again, Christians misspeaking. Look, I'm a Christian and flat earth. Christians who believe Jesus will come in the future are the heliocentrists of Christianity. Jesus has already come, just like he said he would. And Jesus has already come is just as true as the world is flat. Jesus will return in 6.5 years is more false than the world is round. But both are false. But Jesus will return in 6.5 years, Andrew Links, is more false. Believing Jesus will come again is just as false as believing in heliocentrism. Stop the mad. It's time to wake up from another dream.
All right. Thanks, Travis. He's responding to Andrew Lanks from, I believe it was the last episode, talking about his belief that Jesus is coming at a specific time. Matt, what's your take on this? You seem to be the expert in this field.
Sure. I'm not real sure what he is implying by he's not coming back. This would be the first time I've heard someone's opinion in that direction. So I'd love for that guy to message me at Flatworth on Instagram or Facebook, just because I'd like to hear more about what he has to say. I agree the earth is flat. I was of the opinion Jesus is coming back, but I'd be interested to hear what this guy has to say and what he has to back up scripture-wise.
Okay, our next one is from Carl.
If I have a target 10 feet in front of me and I place my sights on the bullseye, there's a very good chance I'm going to hit the bullseye. If I back that target up a few hundred yards, if there's any deviation of my bullet, as soon as it leaves the barrel of my firearm, chances are I'm going to miss that target entirely. So my question is, with atmospheric refraction, how can someone fire a laser at the moon, which is hundreds of thousands of miles away, and even hit the moon if there's any sort of refraction, and then have that laser beam come all the way back to Earth and survive refraction again?
Thanks, Carl. Couldn't agree more.
I have nothing to add to that.
There you go.
Great comment.
Great comment. Thank you. Next one is from Aaron.
What's up, guys? My name's Aaron from Florida. I was talking to a couple of buddies of mine tonight, and we had an idea for an experiment, and I want to know if you guys think it would work or not. So we were thinking of starting at the equator, being separated by 100 yards, two different people, and then going due south. And on a flat Earth, if it is flat, would the distance between the 2 points not grow? And if you're on a globe, those 2 points should get closer together the further south that you go. I didn't really have an answer, but I wonder if you guys do. So any thoughts would be great. Just let us know.
Thanks, Aaron. Interesting test. Probably pretty difficult to pull off, especially as you're going farther south. There's all sorts of magnetic declinations. I don't know how you can truly tell what direction you're going unless you're relying on the prison cage system we call GPS.
I like the idea. I think it's sound.
Great idea.
And Aaron just sounds like a genuine cool guy I'd like to hang out with. I think if you can figure out the magnetic declination stuff, I think it's a great test. And if you can go far enough.
The problem is, how do you really go in a straight line, and what landmass? You'd have to go through the Amazon, or don't quote me on my geography. You're going to be over the ocean. How do you create these straight lines other than using GPS? Maybe a compass would do it. Interesting test, difficult to pull off, not something that I can do myself. Next one is from Rob. Here we go, Rob.
Hi, guys. It's Rob in Scotland. Just want to address this. Let's be nice to the curve. These are the people that say should all be put down at birth. All flat earthers should be shot on sight, killed, whatever. So they endorse infanticide and genocide. That's they need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. No, flat smack them hard and often until they see sense. Well done, Dave. Keep up the good work. I'm glad you're there on point. Thanks for the great shows. Catch you next week.
Thanks, Rob. I really appreciate the words of encouragement. We certainly need them in this movement. I would also maybe be a little nicer, because a lot of us did have slightly angry reactions to Flat Earth when we first heard it. Again, there is no excuse for some of the things some of them say, but you got to remember we were all kind of there at one point.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think anytime we react viscerally or make fun of anyone who isn't there yet, it's genuinely geared towards people like he just mentioned that say we should be shot at birth and aborted and things like that. So I do agree that there is a necessary tenderness involved with some people, and really it's the people that are listening that will actually listen. Someone that won't listen is just, it's not really worth even talking about.
Our next one is from Travis. Here we go, Travis.
After the style of Magic by Pilot. Oh, ho, ho, it's magic, you know. Never believe that it's real. Gravity, you know. Cannot believe that it's true. Never seen the earth curve. Never seen a star swerve. Shouldn't see the full moon in the morning. Exciting day ahead. Gonna flat smack globe heads. Try to talk some sense into their noggins. Yeah. Oh, ho, ho, it's magic, you know. Never believe that it's real. Gravity, you know. Cannot believe that it's true. Another sunny day. I can see far away. Farther than I could if there was curvature. Can't feel the earth spin. Don't see water bend. Sticks and balls don't prove the equation. Nah. Oh, ho, ho, it's magic. Everybody, you know. Cannot believe that it's real. Gravity, you know.
He's got balls.
Thanks, Travis. Here's a question. How come when I was researching 9/11, doing podcasts on 9/11, all the other things, people didn't write songs?
I don't know.
That's what's amazing about the Flat Earth research. It's making music. They never make music about 9/11 and all the other deceptions.
You're exactly right.
Travis, I don't know whether to thank you or not. Matt?
Thank you, Travis. It actually was good. I mean, it was good.
All right. We have another one from Antoine.
Hey guys, Jesus Christ. I'm like literally over here pulling my hair out. Dave, Curious Jay. It's Antoine from Brattleboro, Vermont, hitting you guys up again. Man, the level of indoctrination is just ridiculous. I mean, there are people that are observing these phenomenon with their eyeballs, and they're literally just making up excuses. How come we can see too far? They're talking about this math they know nothing about, just making up excuse after excuse. It's just ridiculous. You know, I put them on to Jeranism, I put them on to ODD, and they're just sheeples. That's what they are. They're all sheeples. It's so crazy. Like, how can I wake these people up? I don't know. Let me know. Love you guys.
Thanks, Antoine. Now, let me ask you a question, Matt. Did you make it all the way to the point where he mentioned Jeranism, where you didn't know whether he was pro flat Earth?
That was when I clued in and said, "Oh, okay, cool."
I'm like, wait a minute, he's bald. No, he's flat.
There was such suspense. I loved it.
What I recommend is getting one of my books, the hardcover, and taking it and hitting him over the head with it. It's kind of where I'm at right now. Matt, do you have any other suggestions?
I think you're going to find that you can't say the right thing to the wrong person and the wrong thing to the right person. Some people are going to get it. Some people aren't. I think that's actually biblical.
The people that are really dug in, they will lie to themselves to protect their paradigm. Because if they don't, then they have to admit that they're wrong. So they'll make stuff up. It's a weird human attribute. When somebody believes something's real, they'll lie to defend it.
Yep.
The next one is from Tim. Here we go, Tim.
So here's the thing, guys. My name is Tim from the South Dakota area. I've been listening to your podcast here for a short while, and I have only recently begun to think about the whole flat Earth situation. It's pretty shocking. I got to be honest. I always kind of look to nature to help me figure things out. I feel like there's a lot of clues that are hidden in creation. But I see a lot of roundness. I see the moon. It's round. I see the sun, it's round. Oranges are round. Peaches are round-ish. There's just water drops are round to a certain extent. Everything is pretty rounded. And I was just...
All right, Tim, thanks for the call. You got cut off there. We have a minute. Why did that song seem way longer than a minute? So Tim, the water droplets are round, but bodies of water at rest are flat. Oranges are round, but the earth is flat.
So wait, you're saying that an orange can be round, but the earth can be flat at the same time, Dave?
No, that's absolutely impossible. The old one is, the pool table balls are round, but the pool table is flat. Looking at the moon and the sun, I don't know if they're spheres. They certainly don't act like spheres to me.
I think it's weird that we only see one side of the moon if it's a ball.
Yeah, that's there's nothing in science that really explains that. Gravitational locking, well, if that's the case, the Earth would have stopped spinning millions of years ago.
Right.
All right, Tim, thanks. Next one is from Eric. Let's hear what Eric has to say.
Hey, guys. Eric the Gravedigger here. I'm a baller that has ran into some flat earthers this past year and have recently become flat curious, which has led me to binge listen to your podcast, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. Being a young earther myself, I'm aware and have come to grips with phenomena like premature conclusion, groupthink, and look forward to the day when the institution of science takes its place alongside other problematic institutions like the state, church, military, political, higher education, etc. If you haven't already seen it, I think you would find Catherine Schultz's TED Talks called On Being Wrong helpful, as she explains, among other things, the pedestrian ways that people react towards disagreement. Also, I watched the video Flat Earth Crushed by Discovery Channel and thought it was helpful and reasonable in documenting curvature on a lake, and would like to hear any issues you might have with the experiment in that clip. All the best, guys.
Thanks, Eric, for that. As far as the flat Earth destroyed by the Discovery Channel, that was completely debunked. I forget off the top of my head who made a video on it. They're just looking at the atmospheric refraction with the lake. The height of the helicopter made absolutely no sense. Oh, it was Jaron, of course. Jaronism. If you look up his video, completely debunking that. I'm glad you're flat curious. Keep looking, and you will be a flat earther.
Yeah, awesome. I think I'll look up Catherine Schultz and see what he's talking about there.
Thanks for that. Next, we have one from Creed.
Hey guys, I love the podcast. I just want to give my own little 2 cents, my own little nugget. Dang it. Hey guys, love the podcast. I just wanted to, guys, Hey guys, I love the podcast. I just wanted to say that I was thinking about this whole electric universe thing and how electromagnetism is the force that pulls everything to the ground. But then when I actually got thinking about it, I thought, why do we need a force pulling us down to the ground if there's no space, there's no gravity? What if the standard is just everything falls? And down is down because down is down. Because in the heliocentric model, the standard is everything floats. Everything just randomly floats in chaos. So that's my thought. Let me know what you think. I love the podcast. So, yeah, frick.
Creed, thanks for that. Good thing he had a buzzer for all his screw-ups.
I hope he carries that buzzer with him all the time.
I think when you talk to him on a regular basis, it's just like that. He starts, beep. Hold on, beep. Wait a minute, I said that wrong. Beep.
I hope he keeps it in the bedroom, too.
I kind of forgot what he said because the beep just threw me off.
He was saying... What was he saying? Now all I can think about is the beep.
That's it. Well, thanks for the beep, Creed. We're moving on. Next one is from Sam.
Hi guys, Sam from England. A couple of things. Firstly, in your Pac-Man episode, you were talking about like how plants move towards the light. If you just Google something called auxins, AUXINS, that'll explain it all. But yeah, I do agree. That's a cool theory to link it to the electromagnetism of Earth and the Sun. AUXINS, and look up phototropism. Now, my question is from someone who was debating with me about flat Earth, and he brought up a point, and I'd like to know if you know. How how does a magnifying glass work on a flat Earth? Because obviously on a globe Earth, it's to do with the parallel light rays that get converged. So yeah, how does a magnifying glass work on a flat Earth? Thank you.
Thanks for that, Sam. And the answer is very simple. You're presupposing that a magnifier works with parallel rays where it doesn't. It works on a flat Earth, period. We have our small local sun, and the magnifying glass is magnifying the electricity, the light, to a focal point. And because you're told that you live on a ball and the light's coming in parallel and that's how a magnifying glass works, doesn't mean that that's how a magnifying glass works.
Exactly. And we can plainly see that the light is not coming in parallel.
Next one is from Dwight. Here we go, Dwight.
Hey guys, this is Dwight from the Midwest. I'm curious why your skepticism doesn't extend to flat Earth as well. It stands to reason that NASA can be lying, science faked, and everything people think they know about globe Earth be wrong, and it not mean the Earth is flat or space doesn't exist. A lot of other theories could apply. Being anti-globe shouldn't equate to pro-FE. As a basic example, the FE model could fit within a small circle of a much larger sphere, or NASA could be lying to conceal something that has nothing to do with the shape of the world. Appreciate your answer. Thanks.
Good, you take that, Matt.
I think his question has value, but I think we go to a flat Earth because that's where the evidence has taken us.
I think flat Earth is something I questioned more than anything I've ever questioned. And I've looked into it and studied it more than anything I've ever studied. And so to say that we're not being skeptical about flat Earth is complete opposite of the truth.
Agreed.
All right. The next one is from our friend Justin Harvey from We Are Change, Mr. Asking Scott Kelly about bubbles in space live in an auditorium. Here's Justin.
Hey, what's up, guys? Justin from We Are Change Orlando here. Wow. I just listened to every single podcast in order in a week and a half, start to finish. And hats off to you guys for doing an excellent job covering all these great topics. You know, even as a seasoned flat earther, you know, I find myself learning new things. I've subscribed to a lot of new YouTube channels. I bought Edward Hendry's book, left you guys a pretty sweet iTunes review. But I just wanted to tell you guys you're doing a really good job, and I'd love to be on sometime and tell my Scott Kelly Bubbles in Space story about how I confronted him about that, and how I flat smacked the Kennedy Space Center one time and a Neil deGrasse Tyson protest, all types of good stuff. But anyways, keep up the great work. I'd love to be on sometime. Let's talk about this stuff. If not, Dave, I will see you in Denver. Hopefully I'll get to meet you, Jay, one day here. Keep up the amazing work. See you guys later.
All right. Thank you, Justin. And yes, we will definitely have you on. Will you put that in the guest section notes, please?
Done.
All right. The next one is from Sarah.
Hey, you guys. So I'm relatively new to the flat earth theory, and I was just thinking about the solar system and the planets, which led me to another question. Why do you think NASA took Pluto away as a planet? What did it mean? Was it a power trip? I can't get it off my mind, and I wanted to know what you guys thought.
Thanks, Sarah. What are your thoughts on that, Matt?
Great question. I don't know, but I would bet there's an interesting answer somewhere.
Well, definitely not here.
Not here.
I always look at it as the soul lure system, the way they're luring our souls away. So they got rid of Pluto. Maybe we feel some sort of loss. Not exactly sure. Great question.
Maybe it was a test.
Yeah, next one is from Randy. Here we go, Randy.
Hey guys, have you ever heard the Garth Brooks song called Ireland? At the beginning, he talks about the waves being caused by the earth breathing, and he says that the stars are eyes that are watching us. I thought that was interesting. And I also found out that the word they, like if you're saying they are controlling us or whatever, it's actually an acronym. It stands for the hierarchy enslaving you. I thought that was pretty interesting also. All right, keep it up, guys. You're doing great. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Randy. No, I don't listen to country music.
I have not, though. I was listening to a Brandi Carlile song the other day, and there was a line that said, even if the world is really round and all the maps are drawn upside down, which I thought was interesting.
There's so many major artists that sing about the flat earth. Russian Vids has a compilation of songs that just, it's all in our face. So they're telling us, they're singing it to us, they're showing us. Most people don't have eyes to see. Our next one is from Mitchell. Okay, Mitchell.
Hey, it's Mitchell from Australia. And yes, we really do sound and speak like this here in Australia. God, you guys think everything's conspiracy. I just want to bring up something that Jaron keeps saying. He doesn't think that Australia is as red as Google Maps makes it out to be. Hey, Jaron, we're all upside down here. Have you ever stood on your head for a while? Yeah, it turns red. That's why Australia's red. God. And for those who are wondering, yes, I did used to ride a kangaroo to school. And no, I don't ride one to work now. I'm too big. I ride an emu. God, you Americans are dumb. But seriously, guys, look at my face. You got to watch my face when I talk. This is my sarcasm face. You got to pay attention to the emojis and my face. Yeah, unsub that bullshit non sequitur show. Anyway, guys, I love your show. Love your work. Keep it flat. Peace.
Thanks, Mitchell.
I liked it.
Very good. We're getting music. We're getting comedy routines. We're getting, buzzers. Great. Great stuff. Next one is from Jeremiah.
Hey, this is Jeremiah. I just wanted to say happy moon landing day. Speaking of landing on the moon, since we supposedly brought back approximately 842 pounds of moon rocks, I was just curious what kind of reflective properties these moon rocks have. I would imagine they would be extremely reflective of light, especially the sun's light, due to the fact that we are told that the moon is not just simply illuminated by the sun's light, but it reflects it. That's why it lights up the earth. Curious on your thoughts on that. All right.
Thanks, Jeremiah. A little sarcasm there because the moon's brightness is so bright that it's reflecting the sun. The moon's reflectivity is so reflective, it's reflecting the sun to earth. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Totally agree.
We have one from Gregory. Here we go, Gregory.
Yeah, my name is Greg. I've been listening to the Flat Earth podcast after I found the Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole podcast and listened to all of them. I thought they were fabulous. I like the free think that's imposed by the Flat Earth, conspiracy, and I do enjoy the newer show, but I would also really enjoy if you did, visit some of these topics that you did on the other show. I'm really big into 9/11. I thought you brought up some good topics, and I think it'd be great if you brought up some of these, topics like 9/11, the Illuminati, other things like that. Just wondering if that would be possible for you to sprinkle that in a little bit more. Otherwise, thank you. Your show's great, and I enjoy it.
All right, Gregory, thank you for that. Well, there's 150 episodes of Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole for people to get that. There's tons of others, researchers, including Russian Vids and many others that are covering these topics, although YouTube is not allowing many of these things, and soon the flat earth to be discussed. If you want to find more information on those other topics, there's stoplookthink.com, which has a sprinkling, as you put it, of all things, flat earth, 9/11, and all of the other conspiracies and hoaxes that are going on. Check it out, stoplookthink.com.
Since we're on the Flat Earth podcast, we'll probably talk about the Flat Earth.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great stuff. That will do it for this episode of the Flat Earth podcast. I've got to run. Talk
Where
flat.
are you running to?
I've got to run. That's all. That's all there is to it. I got to go.
You're not telling us where you're going, huh?
I'm going to go talk Flat Earth with somebody. I'll tell you that.
That's suspicious, don't you think?
But thanks for listening. I've been your co-host for this episode, Matt Long. Check me out at Flatworth on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Also just started Spain.flatworth.com, some Spanish material there. Where can people find you, Dave?
Yeah, check out my YouTube channel is DITRH. It's the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Lots of very short, 1, 2, 3 minute, 5 minute videos on there. Great videos to help give somebody a little taste of flat Earth, which will spark their interest into watching something longer. Follow us on Twitter, which is the FE Podcast. Follow us there to help fight off the trolls, because Twitter is a nasty place. It is just horrible in the flat Earth realm. And also, of course, our website, theflatearthpodcast.com. At the time of this recording, it's being transferred from one hosting provider to the other, so it should be up by the time you guys hear this. I will be at a California Flat Earth meetup this weekend.
Awesome. Where's that going to be?
It's in Southern California. You'll be hearing this after after it's over, so the exact location doesn't matter, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And probably before the next one comes out, I'm going to speak at the Flat Earth International Conference in Canada, in Edmonton. So that is August 8th and 9th, I believe, up there.
Very good, Matt. Thanks for filling in, and we'll do this again very soon.
Great, thanks.
I'm not with you crowding, I don't run with the pack. Like I'm in a school of fish that's always prone to attack. I'm a shark in the deep that'll carve up the meat. Man, I'm not an animal with bars, I'm a beast. I don't choose from your games or approve of the same politicizing news that you use for your gain. I'm a fluke in the game and I don't choose to remain a part of every single paradigm. I lose the restraint. Last of the real, but the last moan of me. I'm only one of 7,000 with no grass on his knee. I don't bow down to bail. Hail to the king. It's the blood that's on the cross that is now the supreme. Steps of the just that are just pressed through the mud. The glacier of the flood and now the sand of the dust. We're coming to the end and now we stand on the cusp. So you better run for cover when the dam's gonna bust. Television screen, moon landing, 9/11 Syria, chemical attacks, criminals and government abuse with the tax. The world in which we live in, now the truth that it's flat. Washed in the blood, I don't kneel like a slave. I'm the last of the real in this dangerous age. I'm the last of the real, I'm the last of the real. Coming with me. I don't choose to believe in what is used to deceive. News that is lunacy, telling you not who to be. Television nudity, glued to the screen. A lot of positivity, but truth is obscene. There's a plan to defeat us while we dance at Adidas, drinking can after can that advanced diabetes. Open up your legs, cause now the stands of the leaders. That if a baby is a problem, put a lance through the fetus. There are things that are done, but are yet never seen. All the drugs that are moved, but it ain't Medellin. It's the ones at the top that are deep inside the government. Illuminati brotherhood, it's in a blood covenant. Head of every bank and even Hollywood is under it. A lot of you asleep on the real. Don't presume that you know what goes on in the room. Conspiracy was started with the launch to the moon. Republican and Democrat, wars on the rise. News that is fake that they use to divide. Pedophile rings, chemtrails in the sky. Hollywood and symbolism used on the mind. Washed in the blood, I don't kneel like a slave. I'm the last of the real in this dangerous age. I'm the last of the real, passion and zeal. Get up on my way if you not with the real. Last of the real, last of the real. Who is coming with me in the last of the real? We the last of the real. We the last of the real. Last of the real. Who's coming with me? I'm just one of the few, and it's the last of the real that'll pass on the deal because it has no appeal. You're a flash in the pan and then you're trashed on the reel. Then the label picks another one they grab from the field. Man, I break the motives, all the days will unfold. It's not the truth I uphold. I'll take a break when I'm old. Sustained in the game with all the grace that I hold. I'm not ashamed to say his name. I'm not out chasing the gold. Competition killer, got a trace on your phone, and now I'm knowing who is real and just the face of a clone. Keep your applause, man, I'm not about respect. If you's in it for the benefit, then dude, you's a mess. Come ready to flow, never to boast in the trash. Putting the most in the rap like it's a notion of facts. Even though the weed is plenty with the grass in the field, there's still a lot of us is ready in the last of the real.